the Pakistani Prime Minister has made some statements that people are interested in, and there's been a buzz about those statements. And I have the Ask Abhijit show coming up tomorrow, the next episode, and people have asked me a lot of questions about that. So let's take it up right now, and let's first discuss Pakistan. So let me put something on the screen. What has Mr. What's the name? Sharif, one of the Sharifs, right? Yes, Mr. Sharif, Pakistan Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif, the other Sharif. He is now the Prime Minister. So he says that we have learnt our lesson, and he is calling for talks with Prime Minister Modi. In an interview with Dubai-based Al Arabiya TV, Mr. Sharif called for serious and sincere talks with Prime Minister Modi on burning issues like Kashmir. So what has he said? He says that Pakistan wants to live in peace with India, and he has called for these talks. Uh, Sharif said that Pakistan has learned its lesson after 3 wars with India, and it now wants peace with India. Earlier it did not, but now it wants peace with India. My message to the Indian leadership and PM Modi is that let's sit down on the table and let's have serious and sincere talks to resolve our burning points like Kashmir. It's up to us to live peacefully and make progress, or quarrel with each other and waste time and resources, Shahbaz Sharif said. We have had 3 wars with India, and they have only brought us more misery. They have only brought more misery, poverty, and unemployment to the people. We have learned our lesson, and we want to live in peace with India, provided that we are able to resolve our genuine problems. And there is some tweet by this thing. I don't know how to read this stuff. Yeah, I think it's the Nastalik script. I had once learned the Arabic script, but okay, that's fine. India is our neighboring country. We are neighbors. So even if we are not neighbors by choice, we are there forever. Blah 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 blah. It's up to us to live peacefully and progress, or quarrel and waste time and resources. And he also speaks about Kashmir, that Pakistan wants peace, but what's happening in Kashmir should be stopped. Whatever he says, blah blah. So that's what he has said, right? Um, and what else? This is from Dawn. It's a Pakistani newspaper. Pakistan Prime Minister said that he asked UAE to facilitate dialogue with India. PM Sharif had, during his recent trip to the UAE, asked Emirati President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan to facilitate dialogue with India, and vowed sincere talk with the arch rivals if a channel were to open. Yeah, Pakistan has learned its lesson and is ready for peace. I have requested Mohammed bin Zayed. He is a brother of Pakistan, and the UAE is a brotherly country. He also has good relations with India. He can play a very important role to bring the two countries on the talking table. And I give my word of honor that if we will be talking to Indians with a sincerity of purpose. That's what has been reported. Then we get more information here. This is the Pakistani Prime Minister's office. In reference to PM Shahbaz Sharif's interview to Al Arabiya, the spokesman of the PM office said that the PM has consistently maintained that Pakistan and India must resolve their bilateral issues, especially the core issue of Jammu and Kashmir, through dialogue and peaceful means. However, the PM has repeatedly stated on record that the talks can only take place after India has reversed its so-called, like they are saying, so-called illegal action of August 5, 2019, which is, the revocation of that article. Without India's revocation of this step, negotiations are not possible, and so on and so forth. The same old nonsense, right? So they first make a nice statement and then go back to the age-old nonsense that they have always been saying. So then, in that case, what is new about what he has said? It is just words. Yes. Here's more. Yes, PM Sharif's call for talks with PM Modi only after India revokes abrogation of Article 370. So once again, once they first make a nice statement and then they put conditions on top of it, which go back to the same old time and tried and tested nonsense of Pakistan. So that's where we are. Sincere and serious talks and all that, but with conditions that Pakistan will impose. Who cares what conditions Pakistan wants to impose? Is Pakistan a nation worthy of, even considering seriously? Right? So that's a deal. So let's understand why all of this is happening. Yes, people in India are like, first of all, many Indians are celebrating. Let's dance. The Pakistanis want peace. Are you kidding me? Indians can be so incredibly naive. I keep on repeating this over and over again. Let's focus on the actions, not on the words. I think, I mean, not all Indians are naive. These days, Indians are waking up, kind of, especially the people who watch this channel are not so naive anymore. I'm so glad to see that. But overall, Indians are very naive, and Indians are like, yes, let's celebrate. Pakistan finally wants peace. Let's dance. Let's celebrate. We'll have talks. Ha ha ha. Yep. So let's understand what's really happening here. Why has this fellow, the Sharif number two, made this statement, and then they have put conditions on top of it? What's happening? Let's look what's happening. This is something I spoke about a week or so ago. So Pakistan, first of all, let's understand that Pakistan has been taken off the FATF grey list. Yes, the FATF grey list is so now Pakistan is no longer accused, of participating in terrorism and all that, according to FATF. So now, if somebody donates money to Pakistan, that donation is no longer considered to be. I mean, it is justifiable. Yeah, those nations will be able to justify. So when there are Western donors, international donors who are donating money to Pakistan, they need to justify to their constituencies, to their public, to their citizens, that we are not donating money to a terrorist nation, a nation that's a state sponsor of terrorism. And now that Pakistan has been taken off the FATF grey list, it is kind of fine for them to do that. They don't need to justify it too much, because now Pakistan is adhering to the FATF guidelines and all that nonsense. Yeah. And of course, recently, this is what happened. This is the thing in Geneva. $10.7 billion have been pledged to Pakistan. Climate Resilient Pakistan conference in Geneva. So Pakistan has been able to secure over $10 billion in pledges. Just a few. This is a new news report from January 9. So that's a very recent news report, less than 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And the UN is very much involved in this entire process of giving money to Pakistan, facilitating that and all that. Yeah, if the UN is involved, that it means that it's a cause that's worthy of approval and all that. So it's a UN approved cause. This donating money to Pakistan cause. This is a tweet by Mariam Aurangzeb, who is some kind of minister in Pakistan. Yeah, information and broadcasting. So EU has pledged 93 million. Germany 88 million. China 100 million. IDB 4.2 billion, World Bank 2 billion, Japan 77 million, ADB 1.5 billion, US aid 100 million, France 345 million, total 8.7557 billion, and so on. But overall, it's more. And this is also what's happening. The Americans are willing to fund Pakistan's border security against Afghanistan. So a terrorist nation is accusing Afghanistan of endangering their border security, and the Americans are willing to fund Pakistan's border security vis-a-vis Afghanistan. So you can see the Americans are now willing to funnel funds and money into Pakistan. Once again, there's the same news report about the same thing. The Pakistan and the US join hands against the Pakistani Taliban. So it's not exactly the same thing, but there is a faction of the Taliban within Pakistan which has set up a parallel government, so that the Americans are willing to cooperate with the Pakistanis on this matter as well. And of course, we know what the Pakistanis have been up to. They've signed a whole bunch of several kilos of uranium to the UK. Yeah, shipped from Pakistan to UK-based Iranians. We don't know quite what's happening. They've hushed this story up. So maybe the UK is also equally involved in this. I mean, Pakistan obviously is a British creation. It's a Western creation. So if Pakistan is sending stuff over there, then maybe the UK is also involved. Yes. So that's what's happening. And the protests have been happening across Pakistan, in Balochistan, in Gilgit-Baltistan, even in Sindh. Sindhis are asking for independence from Pakistan. Sindh movement. Yeah. So there are all kinds of troubles happening in Pakistan. Pakistan is essentially one step away from being a completely failed nation. It's a bankrupt nation. It's a failed state. The only reason why it is not completely failed is because the West keeps on bailing Pakistan out. Earlier, China was also doing that. Even now, China is to some extent cooperating, right? So Pakistan exists and keeps on existing falteringly only because of external aid, only because of Western assistance. And when we talk about the West, it means the United States. Yeah. So that is what's happening in Pakistan. And now the question is, why has Mr. Sharif gone ahead and made this wonderful statement? We have learned our lesson. Yeah. We have learned our lesson. three wars and all that nonsense, and we want serious and sincere talks with India. First, he makes the statement, and then they add all these conditions to that. Yeah, what is the deal? What's happening here, my dear Indian viewers? I mean, and anybody else who's watching. I know that others, people from outside India, also watch this. Non-Indians. So, what's happening here? So, first of all, please understand these are words, and then words have been added on top of words to put conditions. Yeah. So, what do these words mean, and at whom are these words aimed? Who? What is the target audience of these words? That's the question. Yeah. The, the thing is very simple. This is all aimed at the West. It is aimed at the US because optics matter in the West. Pakistan wants more money, more funds, more so called aid from the West, from the United States and from other various US satellite nations, the so called West. They want more aid, but optics matter. So Pakistan wants to take a reasonable position, a conciliatory stand, a balanced position, through words. Make the right noises, say the right words, appear to be reasonable, appear to be balanced, appear to be contrite, appear to take a conciliatory stance, appear to be open for negotiations, and then put conditions later on which nobody will focus on. Yeah. So the entire focus, this statement is aimed at the West. It's aimed at placating the Western audiences so that it looks like Pakistan is being reasonable, so that this can justify the continuing funneling of money into Pakistan. The Americans want to funnel money into Pakistan through a variety of means, under a variety of guises. Various Western nations are being made to fund money, to funnel money into Pakistan. Even Japan is being made to do it. Even the French are being made to do it. Yeah. So all of this needs to be justified. Until, I mean, even now, the whole world looks upon Pakistan as a state sponsor of terrorism and a terrorist nation. I mean, Pakistanis, when they go abroad, they pretend to be Indians because they look like us and they have the same accent. So yeah, if you say I'm Pakistani, people are scared of you. If you say I'm Indian, then people are fine. So that's what's happening. So this entire this statement of having learned the lesson and wanting serious and sincere talks, it's aimed at the West. It's there. The Pakistanis are trying to make the right noises to placate and justify, to allow the Western donors to justify the aid into Pakistan. And why have they imposed these conditions later on, that it can only happen after the India revokes abrogation of Article 370? That is aimed at Pakistan's domestic audience. Yes. So one part is aimed at the West, the other part is aimed at the domestic audience, so that the Pakistani public doesn't get upset. That why are you now, willing to engage with India? What about our principled whatever stand on Kashmir and all that nonsense? Yeah. So part one of this is aimed at the United States and the West, all the donors. They want more money, so let's say the right things so that money keeps flowing in. And then this condition that they have imposed, that India needs to revoke whatever, that is aimed at the Pakistani public, so that they can tell the Pakistani public that yes, we have our strong principled stand and we will not waver from that, so that the Pakistani citizenry, the domestic constituency is also placated. That's what's happening. So it's half for the West and it's half for the Pakistani public, and there is nothing in it for India. These are empty words. So let us stop celebrating words. Please stop celebrating empty words. Words don't matter, only actions matter. A politician, it is politicians trade in words. Words are just tools they use on a daily basis. If you look at a politician's statements over a matter of months, over a matter of years, you will see wild swings and routine contradictions. They contradict themselves routinely. So let's stop focusing on words. What action has Pakistan taken? If they are ready for sincere talks, why don't they take action against the perpetrators of the 9/11, uh, uh, the terrorist attack in Mumbai? India has given all the evidence. Why don't they hand over the perpetrators to India? The perpetrators are still roaming free. Have they taken any action against that? If they are really sincere, like they say, take some actual tangible action. Then we will See that you are really sincere. Until then, it's empty words. And dear Indians, please stop celebrating this sort of nonsense, because it is all just hot air. That's what it is. All right. So I hope that puts the entire Pakistani thing into perspective. Yeah, it's just empty words. It there's nothing in it for India.